We all love a good alley-oop. An alley-oop is a high-arcing pass where the player catches the ball in the air, then puts the ball in the hoop. People love these. It draws crowds. This is a chart of teams and their alley-oops in the past 2 seasons. If we go to the very bottom of the chart, we could see not very athletic teams, like the Spurs, who have only gotten 5 alley-oops in the past 2 seasons. If we go up, we can see teams such as the Bulls, Mavericks, and Suns. Way more up, we have more athletic teams. Also, teams with good passers, such as the Hornets, Jazz, Celtics, and Raptors. If we go even higher, we have some of the most energetic and athletic teams in the league. Then we have the Lakers and Knicks. But in a completely separate league of their own, we have the Los Angeles Clippers. You are probably a bit confused on why I am showing you this chart. Well, it's because never in a million years would have you thought the Clippers had the most lobs by far in the 2020 NBA season and the 2019 NBA season. NBA players are super rich. They are multi-millionaires. The average NBA player makes about $25 to $40 million in their career. But this fact literally blew my mind. 60% of NBA players go broke. Bruh, how do you go broke with tens of millions of dollars? To NBA players who have gone broke, slap yourself. Allen Iverson, slap yourself twice. Allen Iverson has earned $200 million from the NBA, including sponsors. Take a wild guess of what his net worth is now. $1 million. Allen Iverson earned $200 million in his NBA career, but he has reduced that to $1 million. And it's not like he isn't making any money now. Allen Iverson's shoe sponsor, Reebok, is paying him $800,000 a year for the rest of his life, and his net worth is $1 million. I don't know if I've ever called an NBA player an idiot, but AI, you are so smart. I got all respect for Allen Iverson. You're a certified legend, but come on. In the 1965 NBA season, Wilt Chamberlain was one of the best players in the NBA. His salary for that season was $100,000. At the time, this type of money was unheard of in the sports world. A lot of times, NBA players had to have a second job because their NBA salary wasn't enough. But Wilt Chamberlain's rival at the time was Bill Russell. In order to prove Bill Russell was quote-unquote better than Wilt Chamberlain, he needed to have a higher salary. The team's salary at the time were not too high, so Bill Russell demanded for $100,001. One more dollar than Wilt Chamberlain was making. So he had the right to say he was getting paid more. So then the public thought he was better. What a legend. In the last video, we talked about one-hit wonders, but only for a couple games. One of the biggest one-hit wonders is Jeremy Lin. Lin's sanity in New York was so unbelievable. It was absolutely insane. In fact, Jeremy Lin's 89 points in his first 3 games as a starter was the most in NBA history in the first 3 games as a starter. More than Kevin Durant, more than Michael Jordan and Steph Curry, more than every single one of those. We all know EuroLeague players are extremely skillful. When you look at Luka Doncic's EuroLeague stats, you wouldn't have guessed he averaged 12.8 points per game and then became what he became. After all, the EuroLeague is the second best basketball league in the world, behind the NBA, of course. The trend of international players coming into the NBA has been growing at a rapid rate recently, such as Danny Avdija, or a more popular one, Luka Doncic. But I'm going to show you a chart of the population of international players coming into the NBA. I will be showing the progression of international players for every 2 NBA seasons. Trust me when I say the results are surprising, I mean it. This is it. With the y-axis being the percentage of EuroLeague players, and the x-axis being the years. It used to be just 1/20th of the NBA coming from the EuroLeague, but now nearly 1/4 of NBA players used to play in the EuroLeague. The amount of international players getting to the NBA is insane, and I think within 5 years, 1/3 of the NBA will be EuroLeague players. Michael Jordan back in his day was so dominant. NBA fans had no choice but to buy Jordans because he did this. But there's this one sketchy Chinese company by the name of Kiaodan. I'm probably gonna get copyrighted for that, but whatever. The company illegally named their stuff after Michael Jordan and used the modified Jumpman logo to sell Jordans. And now they are a big brand. They advertise a lot of NBA games. What used to be a sketchy Chinese company just trying to scam people eventually became one of the most popular brands in the NBA. And the company is now worth $1.6 billion. And in fact, that company sold so many Jordans that they are explicitly linked with Michael Jordan. If you look up the company on Google, you will instantly see an image of Michael Jordan, age, net worth, and all. They used to be an illegal company. That's just crazy to think about. We all know Dennis Smith Jr.'s amazing jumping ability. He has a higher vertical than Klay Thompson by nearly 2 times. It's honestly pretty crazy how high he can jump. I have a chart to show you guys that. This is a chart of NBA players' height on the x-axis and their vertical leap on the y-axis. If we go over here, we have Victor Oladipo. He's a 6'4" guard with about a 40-inch vertical. So that's a reference of the players in his area. If we go over here, we have Zach LaVine, a 6'5" guard with a 46-inch vertical. See, it's rare for a player to have over a 35-inch vertical, but Zach LaVine has 46. That's one of the highest vertical leaps in NBA history. If we move over here, we've got LeBron James. There's an insane amount of NBA players that are 6'8" or 6'9" with a 38 to 40-inch vertical. There are 7 of those players. That is nearly 1/4 of the entire chart. But I mentioned Dennis Smith Jr. and how good he is at jumping. So, where is he on this chart? Dennis Smith Jr. is by far the best jumper in the NBA. 6'2" with no shoes and a vertical leap of 48 inches, which by the way is the highest vertical leap in NBA history, higher than Dominique Wilkins, higher than Russell Westbrook, higher than Giannis, higher than Zach LaVine, the highest vertical ever. I made a video pretty recently on who is statistically the most clutch player in the NBA in the 2019-2020 NBA season. It was Donovan Mitchell, but fun fact, there is no such thing as clutch shooting. I know. If a player comes up in big moments, he also comes up in regular moments. Jimmy High Roller said this statement, and well, it's true. If you look up on Google, what are some of the most clutch players in the NBA, you're not going to find any random players. You are going to find superstars. Luka Doncic, Damian Lillard, Nikola Jokic, Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young, and it will just go on until there are no more good players. So Damian Lillard is not a clutch assassin. He is a regular assassin. No, that's not what I mean, but you know what I mean. Trae Young isn't clutch. He just so happens to make a lot of shots. Kobe Bryant was never clutch. There is no bench player that is clutch. If that bench player is clutch, then he's a very, very, very good bench player. We all know James Harden's insane ability to get to the free throw line. He is an amazing player. It's either he gets a bucket or an assist or gets to the line. Or 1% of the time, he just doesn't do anything. But the amount of how good he is to get to the line is actually insane. This is a chart of the amount of free throws NBA players have attempted in the 2020 NBA season. At the bottom, we have players getting between 300 and 400 free throws. Players that are all-star level and pretty good at getting in the paint and driving in. If we go a bit up, we have super explosive players, or players that get a ton of buckets. Bradley Beal, Montrezl Harrell, DeMar DeRozan, Bam Adebayo. If we go even more up, we get into superstar territory. NBA players that are top 10 players in the league. Luka, Anthony Davis, Giannis, Dame, but where's James Harden? so far above the rest of the NBA that the next person with the most free throws has 200 less. But that's not even the craziest part. James Harden is getting 13.4 free throw attempts per game, which, by the way, is the most free throw attempts in the NBA history. We are at the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed. I'm Vrunnn, and that's my take. Peace!